Oh, hey artist, there you are. I've been waiting for you. Hey, it is Christmas time at Mr. Brad Art, and today we are going to draw Pikachu. Yay! And we're going to do them together step by step, and we're going to give them a little Christmas twist. Would you like that?
Yeah!
Great. Then grab your stuff and let's go to the drawing board. Shoo. Oh, I'm already at the drawing board. Just get your stuff. Okay. Well, hello there, you beautiful artist. Today we're going to be drawing Pikachu Christmas Edition. And you're going to need a few things if you want to draw along. Of course, a piece of paper, pencil, a black pen of some kind. It can be a marker, Sharpie, whatever, an eraser, and something to color with. And I'm going to use my trusty Arteza watercolor pens. These are really cool because you just take the cap off and you can just draw and paint with them at the same time. And they're not very expensive. You can get them on Amazon and they're very nice. But if you have crayons or markers or whatever, that'll work just as good too. All right, to start off with, we're just going to come down from the top of our page a little bit and we're going to draw a circle. And as I always say, draw nice and loose and light. That way you can erase when you have to. Okay, got that? Now that's just going to be the base for Pikachu's head. And we're just going to kind of rough in all the shapes here so that we have some guidelines to go by. So from there, we're going to come down toward the bottom part of the circle here. And we're just going to make a line that kind of humps over a little bit like this. And then at the bottom as well. And we're not going to come all the way up into here. We're just going to come down to here. And then we're going to come down below that. And we're going to rough in. Let's come down a little bit. And remember, keep it nice and loose and rough. Okay? And we're just going to make like a big U shape at the bottom. From there, we're going to bring this line up from here. And we're going to bring it in. We're going to come up, out, and back in a little bit. And this is going to be one of his arms. We're going to have Pikachu waving at us. So we're going to come back up to the head here. And we're going to come a little bit. We don't want to come all the way to the bottom. We want to come up along the side a little bit. And then we're just going to bring this line up and over like that. Okay? And we're going to give Pikachu, I think he's got four little fingers. So we're just going to kind of shape them in. Just like Pikachu's waving to us. Because he's going to be waving. Merry Christmas, everybody. You know, in his Pika Pika voice. All right, let's come back over to the other arm now. I'm going to bring it in. And we're going to do four little fingers on this one as well. And Pikachu's a really cool character. I don't know how many of you that he's your favorite, but I bet a lot of you. If you have a favorite Pokemon, leave it down in the comments. Let's see what everybody likes. Okay, let's go back up to his head now. And we're going to put in two eyes and a nose. So we're going to do the eyes first. So we're just going to kind of picture this as the middle. I'll just put a little line there. Middle of his face. And his eyes are fairly wide set apart. So we're just going to come over here. And we're just going to shape in one eye. And then we're going to come over to the other side and shape in another one. Looks kind of weird right now, huh?
Yeah.
And then we're going to come down a little bit in the middle. And we're just going to make a little, like an upside down triangle for his nose. And then we're going to come down just a little bit from that. We're going to make his mouth. And his mouth just comes down from the center line. And it's kind of like a little U shape, but not, as drastic as a U. Almost like a cat's muzzle or something. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Ta-da! Now it's starting to look like something.
What?
Okay, so let's come down from one edge of the mouth, and he's going to have a big smile. So we're just going to make this line come in a little bit and down and curve around. And then we're going to, we want that to be kind of even. And then we're going to bring this back. We're going to bring it out to the other side. Now I can see that looks just a little bit uneven. So I'm going to bring this line back down a little bit. Okay, now we can take out this middle line if you have one in yours. Get that eraser out of there. All right, and now we can start fine-tuning him a little bit. So at the top of his head, we're going to give him a little Santa Claus hat, and we're just going to start somewhere out here on your circle, and we're just going to make little bumps like these, like little hills. We're going to go all the way across the top of his head and down toward the sides a little bit too. Okay, maybe this one will come down a little bit more. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now we're going to come underneath and we're going to come back and make these little bumps again. And this time they're going to be like upside down hills, more like U's. And this is going to be that fuzzy part of his hat. Because he's a jolly little Pokemon, aren't you? Got that?
Yes!
Let's go from this side of the eye up. Okay, and then what you're going to do is we're going to bring a line that kind of goes back a little bit like this. Okay, like you're starting a rainbow, but it stops. And then we're going to make a little hump down and back up. Okay, and we're going to go from that line and we're going to come down. We're going to come down to a point like this. And from that point, you're just going to bring that line back up till it hits the fuzzy part. So that's going to kind of look like his hat. And then we're going to put a little fuzzy ball with some little bump humps all the way around it. So that's the little ball at the bottom of his hat. Okay, now let's go back over to here. And wherever you ended this line, that's where we're going to start. We're going to start at this line and we're going to come down just a little bit. And then we're going to make his ears. And his ears just kind of swoosh out like this, nice and big. And then back down to back into the hat. And then we're going to come up here and we're going to draw that little black line, because this part will be black. So we're going to draw that little line that makes a point of his hat. On this side, we're going to come over and we're going to kind of come from the inside of his eye and just come up. And from there, we're going to make his ear come out like that. All right, and then we're just going to come back down to where it touches his hat. And then again, we're going to make this little line here that's going to show the black tip of his hat.
What?
Now, we drew his ear right through his hat, right? So what we want to do is erase this and get it out of there. Because this will make it look like the ear is in front of the hat and that the ear goes down through like a little hole in the hat. All right, how's yours coming out so far? Pretty good, I bet. All right, and then we're going to put his feet in. And for his feet, we're just going to start just below his body line. And we're going to come in right about here. And we just want to make his feet come up and over like a rainbow and then shoo, back down under the line. And then we're going to come over to this side and we're going to do the same thing. And you don't have to make that noise, but it helps if you want to. So, shoo. Okay. Everybody got that?
Yes!
At the top, we're going to put 2 lines in for his toes. So one here on this side, kind of curling that way a little bit. And one here on this side, curling that way a little bit. Same thing on the other foot. Shoop. And on the other side, swoop. And then down here, where we have the line of his body that's cutting through his feet, we're going to erase that. So it looks like his feet are in front of his body. And that's your basic Pikachu. Now the other thing we want to do is we want to kind of define this circle for his head a little bit. And we want to take this line from his face and we want to start to define that a little bit. So I'm going to come up here to where his hat ends and I'm just going to come in and it goes out a little bit and then in. Just like that. You don't want to come all the way down through here because we don't see that. And I'm going to come on the other side. And this time, this line is going to curve in a little bit. But when it gets to his arm, we're going to stop. So his arm is actually going to come in here a little bit more. Okay, and then it's going to stop. And if that looks good to you, that's where you can stop yours for now. All right, once you get this far and you're pretty happy with everything, we're going to take a black pen. Look at this. This is just a Sharpie pen, and like I said in the intro, if you have a marker, a black, like a ballpoint pen, anything you want to use like that is fine. You just want a nice fine line. And what we're going to do is we're just going to go over all of these lines that we want to keep, because remember, a lot of these were just guidelines. And then when it completely dries, you're going to erase all of the extra pencil that's left over so you have a nice, clean, black and white line drawing. And we'll go from there with the color. All right, let me speed this up so you can show me. You can do yours, and I'll meet you back here when we're done. Boom. Let's do it.
Woohoo!
Crazy artists, we are back.
Hallelujah.
And here, oops, there's a hair. Here we have our finished Pikachu drawing, but you know, something's missing. I erased everything. I have the black and white lines, but does anybody know what I'm missing? Oh, that's right, his tail. How could I forget? I didn't really. I'm just saving this for the next level of our drawing.
Cool.
So let's give Pikachu a tail, and we're gonna start kind of down here toward his bum, his little butt.
Booyah!
And we're just going to make a line come up like this. And we're going to angle it back in like that. And, you know, it's kind of, he's got this, like, crooked little tail. So we're going to make this line come back out, okay, to his hand. Now, from his hand, you don't see it, but underneath here, it's going to go in like this and back out like this. And then, guess what? It zigzags again. So we're going to come out here a little bit farther. And we're going to come up like this. And we're going to come out like this. And then back up. And this time this line slants a little bit. Okay, so it kind of goes this way instead of this way, this way. Now once you get that in, we're going to come back up here. And we're going to make this line come up, over, 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 over. Okay, and then we're going to, well, not that far over. And then we're going to come down. Look at this. Okay, and I'm going to erase that because that was my bad, guys.
Jeepers creepers.
Right, now we got a tail, and when we color it, you'll see some of the other stuff that it's going to look like. Now, to even take this up to another level, let's do a little bonus piece here. Let's do a little Pokeball. So we'll have our Pokemon sitting on a Pokeball, and all you need to do that is a cup.
Cool.
This is just a plastic cup. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to set it so that the rim of the cup is up above his feet a little bit. Okay, can you guys see that okay there? So like, there's his feet, and I'm just going to set the cup on there like that. And then I'm going to take my pencil, and I'm going to start at his body, because I don't want to draw inside of his body, because we want it to look like he's sitting on it. And I'm just going to come around and trace it very carefully. Come back to this side wherever it meets his body. I'm going to trace around it this way. When you take the cup off, you got a nice ball, and it kind of looks like he's sitting on top of it.
Nice.
All right, so from there, I'm going to outline this and his tail in the black so we catch up. And then I'm going to also trace the Pokeball. And take your time when you're tracing around your Pokeball. If you're really good with a marker, you can even do the tracing the first time with the marker.
What?
But I'm not that good, and I gotta take my time. And there, that looks pretty good. Okay, now we're gonna go back to our pencil, and in the middle, and we're gonna come down a little bit, we're gonna make a couple other circles. All right, so this is going to be for the middle of the Pokeball there, you know, with the little place where you can open it up. So we're going to make a big circle. And remember to keep that nice and loose and light.
Yes.
And then inside it, we're going to make another little circle. Okay, and right now, that's kind of a wonky circle, but you'll see when we clean it up how cool it's going to look. And then from there, I'm going to make two black lines that go around the sides of the ball. And this time, when we do that, we have to curve those lines a little bit. If you just went straight across like that, it wouldn't look right. We want it to look like he's sitting on an actual spherical, pokeball that's nice and round, like a rubber ball or tennis ball.
Nice.
So when we come down here into this edge, we're going to come find this edge here a little bit. And I'm just going to make this line kind of curve. See how that kind of swoops around there? And then I'm going to come down a little bit and get that width where I want it. I'm going to try to do the same thing. I just very carefully want to try to keep the thickness of this band the same. And actually I see that band's in the middle of the circle, so I'm going to have to bring my circle up a little bit more. Look at these. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing. Let me fix this a little bit on the other side. So you want to imagine this line that comes and it's going to come all the way through. So I'm going to start here, and then I want it to curve up and around too. I'll find this line, come through, and the same thing. Ta-da! There you have it, folks. There is our finished, updated, next level Pokemon Pikachu drawing. And you can see here that I got a couple little flaws and mistakes, but that's no big deal because this is all going to be black, and I'll take care of that when I color it. So we'll take a look at the final drawing together when we're done. See you on the other side. Okay guys, there's our Christmas Pikachu. I hope you liked drawing him as much as I did, and I think you might have noticed about halfway through I switched from watercolors to color pencils. I just wasn't liking the way that the watercolors were looking. I wanted that rich, deep color for Pikachu. And I put some shading in and a few other details, and I put a little shadow down here. And if you guys want to, I'm going to turn this up a notch, and we're going to see if we can make a 3D effect and make it look like he's really floating. You want to try that?
Yes.
Well, all right. Let's do it. Well, what do you think, guys? Does he look like he's floating?
Booyah!
I think he does. I think it looks pretty cool.
Nice.
Yes, I love it. Hey, see you guys next time. God bless.